So, Emmanuel, let's talk current Big 12. With the idea that people have come on this show and said there's a 99% chance Oregon State, Washington State are here, and that a TCU is playing the Cougars in a couple of years. Where do you stand? How likely is it the Big 12 goes to 18?
I am not a big fan of doing percentages when I am not the actual one involved. So that's where I'm like, I don't want to give a percentage hope to someone. I just want to point out a situation and say, this could lead you to getting there. You didn't have a path before. You have a path now if this gets used properly, if things play out properly. But I'm not one to feel comfortable with putting a percentage chance of that happening.
But when you say properly, this working out properly, what is the proper way for this to go?
Well, we know that Brett Yormark, in an interview with Joel Klatt, said that he has a whiteboard full of ideas that he would like to install. And we know that during his interview with the Big 12, that he got the job because he presented 10 ideas that he wanted to do for the conference instead of just like one or two as most candidates. So he's got a long list of things to do. And I don't know if I've seen a better opportunity for a man to get one of those things from, whether it's from the networks or it's from the other conferences. I'd have to know what the list is to say, but this seems like a pretty good opportunity to solve a problem that all of these conferences are now having. They're looking at this big pile of money that they wanted to get their hands on that kind of got stymied a little bit, and he can help solve that problem if he wants to.
So what you've said, you can't give a percentage for those two schools going to the Big 12. I respect that. Give me this, though. I know the college football playoff, it's been made clear that they cannot move forward effectively until they figure out Washington State and Oregon State. What is the most likely figure it out scenario? What is so possible that it almost has to happen, if anything at all, with those two schools?
Well, the biggest problem here is that the president of Washington State is still on the CFP board of managers. That's Kirk Schultz. That's a vote, and they need unanimous vote. And we did speak about this. This is no one's arguing that this is the case at this point. I haven't seen one yet. So in order to break that lock, you got to get the pact to be ended. You have to get them moved into somewhere else, so that way he's not going to sit there and vote against your plans. So, find a solution, get it worked out, and all of this goes forward. It's log jammed. You could say the Beavers have created a dam.
Based on what you've heard Schultz say, do you think Washington State would settle for some kind of relationship with the Mountain West, or is this university hell-bent on being Power 5?
They've directly said that. They've said that their intent is to be part of a Power 5 conference. I don't have that quote in front of me, but I have seen it. And it was pretty direct. That's not to say that they haven't talked with the Mountain West. It's not to say that they wouldn't do that if they had to, but that is not their intent. That is not their desire.
So what I'm gathering here, and I'm saying this, nobody else, not you, not a different source. Schultz is going to continue to vote against the rest of the board for the college football playoff until Washington State gets what they're deserved, Power 5 status. What do they want? Power 5 status. It only makes sense that the logical way to move forward here is for Washington State, thus Oregon State, to be in a Power 5 conference. Could it be the Big Ten, the ACC, or the SEC? What are we missing here, and why is it not them?
Number one, not the Big Ten because of cost. Washington and Oregon just got in there, and their payment is downwards of about $30 million starting off. So just the cost of bringing in there, it's heavier. They've already got Washington school and an Oregon school, so you're kind of doubling up in the same area. The ACC kind of seems like they're about to do a different thing. They're going into private universities. Meanwhile, their major big publics are all saying they want to get out. All Florida State, Clemson, and UNC are publics. And then the three that came in, well, California is not, but they'd like to think that they're private.
Right.
But you're starting to see a different tone to what they want to do out there. And Washington State and Oregon State just don't really seem to match that. So, is it possible? Sure. Would I say it's likely? No. The Big 12 seems much more akin to them. We're talking about land grant ag schools. I mean, what do you think, Big 12 or ACC?
Yeah. It seems pretty self-explanatory to me. This whole thing does. And if you just do a little digging not even research. You said it. It's not even research. It's just a little reading. You can see the writings on the wall with this stuff. It takes a little bit to piece it all together, but the writings on the wall with this whole thing immaculate. I can't thank you enough for joining the show again. Somebody came out publicly with a big platform and said that you were a conspiracy theorist. And I think you proved last week and again this week that's not the case. That everything you do is well researched, that it's well thought out. I'll say that. Even if you don't want to say research, I will. And I can't thank you enough for bringing that perspective to this show that I stand by. I will not. This is a message not to you, but to everybody listening. I will not bring somebody on the show that doesn't know what they're talking about. They can't back up what they're talking about. I will be the least informed one on this show every day that there's a guest. And Immaculate, you have certainly delivered. Thank you for being on today. Where can people find this level of research and insurance that you continue to put out?
Well, you could definitely find me on X. I am Immaculate View out there, at Immaculate View. You can also find me on the Big 12 Mafia show. I go on there with Bomber Brown. Currently, it's looking about Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, 2 or 3 times a week we have a show. And on occasion when Buddy Drake decides to have me on. But I'm just a guy who really enjoys looking into this and is trying to help people see things for themselves rather than just waiting for someone from the media to tell them.
Yeah. Well, that's immaculate. As immaculate as always. Folks, thanks for making Locked On Big 12 your first listen every single day. Again, just this... If somebody says that we're not a reputable source or that we have no consistency or honesty, just a great opportunity to prove them wrong. Thanks for making Locked On Big 12 again your first listen every single day. This has been Locked On. I'll say it again. Thanks for making your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.